Imagine stumbling upon a buried treasure in your own backyard. That's exactly what happened in Rutland, England, where one of the most incredible Roman mosaics ever found in Britain was unearthed. At first glance, it looked like a scene straight out of Homer's Iliad, the epic tale of the Trojan War we all know. But as archaeologists from the University of Leicester dug deeper, they realized they were looking at something far more special, something that rewrites our understanding of storytelling in the ancient world. This isn't just any mosaic. It's a beautifully preserved masterpiece from the late Roman period, around the 3rd or 4th century AD, laid in the dining room or triclinium of a grand Roman villa. The artwork is stunning, showing the heroic clash between the Greek champion Achilles and the Trojan prince Hector. But the details were different. The story didn't quite line up with the Iliad. This discovery sent shockwaves through the archaeological community. If this wasn't Homer's version, then what was it? The answer lies with a different Greek master, the playwright Aeschylus. You might know him as the father of tragedy, but what you might not know is that he wrote his own trilogy of plays about Achilles and the Trojan War. The problem: most of it is lost. We only have fragments and mentions in other ancient texts. This mosaic, found in a field in Rutland, is a visual guide to that lost story. It's like finding a movie poster for a film that disappeared 1,000 years ago. Let's break down what makes this so groundbreaking. The mosaic is divided into 3 panels, almost like a comic strip from ancient Rome. The first panel shows the initial duel between Achilles and Hector. But unlike in the Iliad, where they fight to the death immediately, here the fight is interrupted. This matches a known fragment from Aeschylus's Lost Play, where the first fight ends in a truce. This is our first major clue that we're not in Homer's territory anymore. The Roman owner of this villa wasn't just a fan of the classics. They were a connoisseur of alternative versions, a follower of a different kind of epic. The second panel is where things get really dramatic. It shows the body of Hector being returned to his father, King Priam. In the Iliad, Achilles drags Hector's body behind his chariot for days, defiling it in his rage. It's a brutal, vengeful act. But the Rutland mosaic shows something else entirely. It depicts the weighing of Hector's body against a hoard of gold. This is the ransom of Hector, a scene we know Aeschylus wrote about, but which is completely absent from Homer's text. This isn't just a different detail. It's a different thematic focus. It shifts the story from one of pure rage to one of transaction, negotiation, and a different kind of honor. Think about the impact of that. For the Roman aristocrat who commissioned this floor, this scene was the centerpiece of their dining room. Guests would recline, eat, drink, and debate while looking down at this powerful image. It was a conversation starter, a status symbol, and a statement of literary taste. It said, "I don't just know the popular stories. I know the deeper cuts." It showed a level of cultural sophistication that is simply astounding to find in what was then a remote province of the Roman Empire. The third panel shows the final, fatal duel. This time, there are no interruptions. Achilles is victorious and Hector falls. The sequence of events: truce, ransom, final battle is a narrative structure unique to Aeschylus. The mosaic is a storyboard of his lost trilogy. It confirms that this alternative version of the Trojan War was not only known in Roman Britain, but was popular enough to be immortalized in a magnificent, expensive piece of art. So who was the person who commissioned this? We don't have a name, but the mosaic tells us a lot. They were wealthy, obviously. A mosaic of this size and quality would have cost a fortune. They were highly educated, steeped in Greek literature beyond just the mainstream curriculum. This wasn't someone who just picked a design from a catalog. This was a custom job, designed to reflect their specific literary passions. They were essentially the ancient equivalent of a film buff who prefers the director's cut over the theatrical release. This discovery also forces us to reconsider what life was like in late Roman Britain. It's easy to think of it as a distant provincial backwater, far from the cultural heart of Rome or Athens. But the Rutland mosaic proves that's not the whole story. It shows a community with deep connections to the intellectual currents of the wider Roman world. Ideas, stories, and art traveled far and wide. A wealthy landowner in the English Midlands could be just as familiar with the nuances of Greek tragedy as a senator in Rome. What's also fascinating is how stories evolve. We tend to think of ancient myths as fixed and unchanging, but this mosaic shows they were fluid and dynamic. There wasn't just one Trojan War story, there were many. Homer's version became the most famous, the one that survived, but it was just one interpretation among many. Aeschylus offered a different perspective, and the owner of the Rutland villa clearly preferred it. It's a powerful reminder that history is written by the survivors, and that includes stories. The team from the University of Leicester, led by Deputy Director John Thomas, has done an incredible job piecing this puzzle together. By comparing the mosaic's imagery with the few surviving fragments of Aeschylus's work, they've been able to reconstruct the narrative and confirm its origin. It's a masterclass in archaeological detective work, combining art history, classical literature, and good old-fashioned excavation. This mosaic is now part of a much larger archaeological site. The entire villa complex is being explored, revealing more about the lives of the people who lived there. It was a place of luxury, culture, and power. The villa had its own bathhouse, heated rooms, and elaborate courtyards. It was a slice of Roman high society, planted in the British countryside. And at its heart was this incredible floor, telling a forgotten story. For centuries, this tale of Achilles and Hector, as told by Aeschylus, was lost to time. We only knew it existed. Now, thanks to a farmer's field in Rutland, we can see it. We can walk, metaphorically, in the footsteps of the Roman elites who debated its meaning over dinner. It's a direct visual link to a lost piece of our shared cultural heritage. The mosaic is currently undergoing conservation. Experts are painstakingly cleaning and preserving it, ensuring it will survive for future generations. It's a delicate process, but it's essential. This isn't just a beautiful object. It's a historical document of unparalleled importance. It has the power to change textbook chapters on Roman Britain and classical literature. This discovery reminds us that the ground beneath our feet is full of secrets. History isn't just in books. It's buried in the soil, waiting to be found. The Rutland mosaic is proof that there are always new stories to uncover, and sometimes those new stories are actually very, very old. It's a thrilling thought that a lost epic from ancient Greece could re-emerge, not on a dusty scroll, but in a vibrant, colorful mosaic in the middle of England. It connects us to our past in the most vivid way imaginable. Thank you so much for watching. This story is still unfolding, and I'll be sure to keep you updated as archaeologists learn more about the Rutland Villa and its incredible secrets. If you found this as fascinating as I did, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden corners of history. See you next time.